Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at 5.
Good evening, everyone. Well, snow has been falling most of the day, but Nathan is calling this the appetizer to the main course to come later this week. We head straight to Nathan at home tonight with more details. Nathan?
Yeah, Stacey, this is a nice little warm-up or a cool down maybe to what we're expecting, of course, later on this week, where we're expecting heavier snow and some gustier winds. So again, this is just a way to get the gears in motion for your winter necessities and your winter plans. But for today, we'll talk about this. Still, that first alert weather day is in effect for today. Still expecting slippery roadways and, of course, reduced visibilities across our neck of the wood. There's that Luther Family Ford Skycam showing still some traffic moving slowly there along the interstate and having a little trouble with that connection. There it is. Traffic is moving slowly there, but again, that's a good idea to keep those speeds reduced as we'll take a look at that the road conditions for you. And this is the latest from our friends at North Dakota DOT. The blue there is a lot of wet roadways, but where you see those dashes, that indicates some slushy roadways there in the metro. And the pink dash is some scattered snow on the roadway. So that's areas down near Wahpeton and up in north of Devil's Lake, near Lakota, north of Lakota as well. We're seeing some snowfall on those roadways along Highway 1. So definitely want to take that into account if you are planning to head out and about on this Tuesday. The winter weather advisory for the metro goes until 7 o'clock. A winter weather advisory for our friends in northern Minnesota goes until midnight tonight. So that's when we do expect the impacts to be decreasing. But as we talk about in a couple minutes, we'll see just when the snow ends later on tonight. So still seeing that snowfall up and down the I-29 corridor, extending all the way down through the James River Valley. Could even be seeing some raindrops or some mixed precipitation there in our southern North Dakota neighborhoods, and those temperatures are at or below freezing for most of us. So we could be seeing some icy road conditions in the overnight hours as well, with those cooling temperatures overnight tonight. But of course, we'll talk about that, and of course, the main course of snowfall coming up here in a couple minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Nathan. Well, our reporters are working hard to keep you safe, in contact with highway patrol officers and surveying the roads around town. That's where we find Valley News Team's Katie Opperly tonight with a live look at conditions. Katie?
Stacy, I'm here over by the Interstate 94 and Interstate 29 tri-level, and here's exactly what you can expect to see on the roads. There is this wet, slushy, runny kind of snow all over the roads, and officials are warning that this type of snow can be particularly dangerous because it can build up in areas and create an obstruction in the road. That's why they're asking you to follow 3 safety tips to keep you and others safe on the road. Number 1 is easy. Slow down. They want you to be able to slow down so that you have better control of your vehicle. Number 2 is a 2-for-1. It is asking you to turn on your headlights and turn off the cruise control. Turning on your headlights allows other drivers to see you, as it can be difficult to see on these snowy days. And turning off the cruise control can have better control over that vehicle so you can adjust to any changing conditions. Number 3 is if you do see a crash and there are emergency crews on scene, you see those lights flashing, they want you to slow down and they want you to move over. It is the law to slow down and move over if there are emergency crews responding to a scene. That way it keeps you and them safe so that they can do their jobs. There have been crashes in both North Dakota and Minnesota that officials have been responding to, and that's why they want you to follow these tips to keep safe. We're going to continue to keep you updated on these road conditions, but for now, reporting live in Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
All right, thanks so much, Katie. And make sure you have the Valley News Live Storm Team weather app so you can keep up with the weather anytime, anywhere. You'll get the latest forecast and conditions so you can plan your day. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store and download it for free. Well, we all know it only takes a dusting of snow to make your drive to or from work a dangerous one. We just saw it last week with dozens of crashes in the area. The North Dakota Department of Transportation is urging you to follow these precautions. Before you leave one place to head to the other, let someone know where you're going, your exact route, and expected arrival time. That way the person would know where to find you if something were to happen. Make sure to have a full tank of gas and turn on your lights so you and those around you can see. Well, tonight in Bemidji, police officers are asking the public's help in finding a missing teenager. 15-year-old Kendall Thompson was last seen at Manado Youth Center yesterday morning. They didn't provide a photo, but they described Thompson as 6'1", 310 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. Was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt with red lettering and Nike flip-flops. They say Thompson may be trying to get to the Detroit Lakes area. One person is dead after a fiery rollover crash near New Rockford. According to the State Highway Patrol, the only vehicle involved in the crash rolled and then went up in flames, killing the driver. It happened south of New Rockford on County Road 14 last night. The Jeep was traveling north and went into the ditch on both sides of the road before vaulting over an approach. That's when it started on fire. Police haven't released the victim's identity. No one was hurt after a semi crashed into a train near Valley City. It happened last Thursday just before 4:30 p.m. Police say Bruce Dodd was trying to beat the train across the tracks while driving a semi with a trailer. He was given a citation for failure to yield. Police are investigating after a reported overdose yesterday in West Fargo. Officers say just before 5 p.m. they got a call of a possible overdose at the 700 block of West Main Street. The officers, along with firefighters and paramedics, resuscitated 2 people using Narcan. No word tonight on their condition. Well, businesses are already feeling the impact of the mask mandate in the city of Fargo. As COVID-19 cases continue to rise, Fargo Mayor Tim Mahoney issued a policy requiring everyone to wear a face covering within the city. Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard has an update on local businesses and what penalties you could face without a mask.
We have had a handful of people that have gone out of their way to be disrespectful.
Josie Dans, manager of Zanbro's Variety in downtown Fargo, says her store has required masks for months. Thankful that face coverings are now enforced citywide.
I feel like a lot of our customers are going to be really grateful for it, just because leading up to it, we've had a lot of people tell us that they will only shop at places that have a mandate.
She says not everyone has been compliant, seeing some making a big fuss.
If they choose not to leave, that they can be arrested for criminal trespass.
Jessica Schindeldecker with Fargo Police says you can't be fined for not wearing a face covering in an indoor public setting unless you refuse to leave a business that tells you to. If you don't leave, the business can call police, giving you a last chance to put on a face covering. If you don't comply, you'll be arrested, appear in court, and possibly get a $500 fine. Business owners saying they're still willing to work with those who don't want to cover up.
To those individuals, we've just told them that we're available online for their orders or anything they may need, and we're happy to take orders over the phone.
And be respectful of these business owners who are trying to do the right thing and follow this mandate, and just wear that mask.
Businesses saying they're willing to deal with the backlash because they say it's the right thing to do. In downtown Fargo, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
We should know more about West Fargo's potential mask mandate tomorrow. City leaders will be meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. to discuss the possibility. Click this story on our VNL News app for the latest information. Harwood and Legacy Elementary Schools will be the first 2 schools in the West Fargo district to bring students back 4 days a week throughout the month of November. Wednesdays will continue to be an off-site learning day for elementary students. Harwood and Legacy distributed their reentry plans to families yesterday, pending changes to the district's school board meeting on October 26th. Well, a new push to combat human trafficking is announced today. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is unveiling its new center based in Washington, D.C. It's the first of its kind and is led by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. Multiple DHS departments will staff the center, providing what they call a mission of prevention, protection, prosecution, and partnerships.
So far, 16 DHS components and headquarters offices are committed to supporting this effort and are sending personnel to the center. The work we'll do here together embodies the spirit of one DHS, a whole-of-department solution to a problem no one can ignore.
Officials say the center will provide specialized training and increase key operational partnerships with both government and non-government agencies. Well, grand jurors are now allowed to identify themselves and speak publicly regarding the Breonna Taylor case. A judge today granting that request and allowing a grand juror's request to unseal evidence in the state's case against Brett Hankinson, the former Louisville detective involved in the fatal shooting. Hankinson was fired for shooting blindly into Taylor's neighbor's apartment during the drug raid back in March. After months of investigation, Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron announced 2 other officers who also fired their weapons were cleared in the case. Shortly after Cameron's announcement, an anonymous grand juror filed a request to unseal the evidence against Hankinson. Well, up next, seasonal jobs are looking a lot different going into this winter. We'll tell you who's hiring.
And we do expect the snowfall to end in the metro around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock or so, with those clouds hanging around, temperatures staying in those low to mid 30s, so could see some freezing on some of those roadways that are already wet and slushy. Also in Grand Forks, expecting temperatures down around 30 for this evening, but of course we'll talk about more snowfall on Thursday next.